Hi everybody and welcome to Virtual Africa. I've had a request for quite a while now to do a flight in Nigeria from Lagos, and the original flight was a bit too long for me to make in one sitting. It was a couple hundred kilometers. So we're going to do a slightly different flight than the request today, but we are at Murtala Mohammed Airfield in Lagos, and we're going to fly to the east-northeast about 120 nautical miles to Akure, where we will land. And I've never had the sim in this part of the world, so it should be interesting to see. We are in the Coronado Cessna 177 RG, which is the airplane I tend to fly when I want an overwing airplane. It can go fast, so without any further ado, we will get the weather and be on our way.
Mike, 16060, wind 173 at 9er, visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition, ceiling 1,400, broken. Temperature 33, dew point 26, altimeter 2983, ILS, runway 19er right and ILS, runway 19er left in use. Landing and departing, runway 19er right and runway 19er left. DFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions.
Okay, looks like we're going off on 19er, and our heading is going to be about 73 degrees, so we've got our heading bug set, and without any further ado, let's be on our way. Off we go. Airspeed's alive. Now let's rotate. Looks like we've got some traffic over there at the terminal. .747s, 777s. All right, gear up. Fuel pump off. Taxi off, strobes on. And now we can turn on course. Over Lagos. I may change the weather here. Well, there's our outer marker indicator. I may change the weather here so we've got sunshine, but we'll see how it goes. Here we've got Lagos in the ocean as we cruise under the clouds. Sort of a nice example of how Active Sky Cloud Art and Active Sky 16 are rendering the clouds. Nice transparency, looks pretty realistic. So as we climb up over this cloud deck, it might be a good time to talk a little bit about the new avionics from FlightIllusion. I have to say I've been very, very impressed with them. They work great. I don't have the DME on right now, but there it is. We're not tracking a VOR, so I don't have it on. We've got our transponder. Let's squawk altitude. And our autopilot, which I'm not using today, but it works great. And in fact, you can actually see if I use the trim indicators show up on the autopilot. You saw the middle marker light come up when we had that marker on departure. COM1, COM2 radios work great. I can switch back over to the ATIS on 123.8 and put it on COM2, switch over,
Lagos Airport.
Let me pick it up.
Oscar. 1,
And if I have something switched to allow both, which I do here, I've got a switch to allow me to receive on both, because this doesn't have a both setting.
Altimeter.
I can receive on both. And I've been very, very impressed. So I'm looking forward to getting one more piece. I've got a new switch panel coming from Desktop Aviator, and then we're going to rebuild the whole thing. I think I'm going to have the FIPs arranged differently. We're going to arrange all the radios in one stack here if I can. Then I'll probably move the GTN over here so it's vertical, which is how it is in real life. And we might make a couple other changes. So that's our plan. Okay, here we are. We are 5,500 feet and on our way, a little off heading. And we're up on top of the clouds. Now, it doesn't make it so you can see a whole lot of Nigeria up here. So we'll make a decision if we're going to stay up top or if we're just going to clear up the weather. I may just clear up the weather instead and make it so that we've got good visibility. We'll just presume that we flew into a clear spot. But the point is to see the countryside, right? All right, sure enough, thanks to the miracles of weather modification, we've had a break in the weather. So we now have some broken clouds, a little high cirrus in place to place, better visibility, and you can see the ocean. Some nice little clouds going by. This is all Active Sky Cloud Art's new weather pack, their new service pack. I think it looks great, much better than the sort of cartoonish clouds we saw before. And below us is Nigeria. We're on our way. Pretty cool view of the terrain out this side. Of course, this is all Orbix World. I don't have any specific texture pack or scenery pack for this part of the world, but I still think it looks awfully good. And a variety of terrains out there, and terrain textures look quite nice. I thought it'd be cool to do some treetop flying, so we're down on the deck, a couple hundred feet off the ground. It's really packed in the vegetation tight here. I'm running on full autogen trees. Okay, we're cruising along, continuing to cruise treetop here. We're just doing about 150 knots right over the trees. The TAWS system is going off, as I hope it would. A little hill off to our right there, or our left, I mean. And we're right over the top of the forest. And in a second here, we'll bust out into more savanna-like terrain. I think we're okay over the top of that terrain. This is kind of fun. And I have to say, it doesn't look like any other part of the sim I've ever been in. I don't know if this is how Africa looks in this part of the world. I hope it is, because it is pretty cool. Continuing our treetop flying, coming up on a little farm. Pretty cool little detail. Oh, little ground effect there. Let's not crash us. In fact, up we go. All right, just a quick test of the FlightIllusion's autopilot system. It's working. Just like the real thing, you have to hold the button down for a second before it activates. I set an altitude arm for 1,997 feet, and it took me down to that. I have it in heading mode, and if I turn my heading bug now, the airplane turns to go to the heading. I still want to fly about this heading, however. And I'm sure if we were to use the up button to increase our altitude by a couple hundred feet. As you can see, the airplane's starting to rise. If I drop it, it drops it. I could arm it for something different. If I wanted to adjust the barometric pressure, I can. But it's armed, so it won't let me do that. So the alt function, the heading function are all working. If I was on a VOR, I could switch it to nav and it would track the VOR radial. So I don't use the autopilot hardly ever because I like to learn how to hand fly, but at least so far it seems to be working pretty well here. And at least with the Karen Auto aircraft, is talking to the airplane systems very well. In the A2A aircraft, I'll have to check and see how well it replicates it because they use a lot of their own variables. But so far so good. Okay, we're about 37 nautical miles from our destination. Cruising along at about 2,700 to 3,000 feet. We're coming up on the town of Ondo. And then if I'm checking out the map right, then Akure is going to be after we pass those mountains there off to our right. And it's sitting in a valley just past that. If I look at the airport, it looks like the field is 21 and 03. We'll get weather. But either way, we'll probably either be making a right downwind for 21 or a left downwind for 03. There's the town of Ondo passing off to our right. Okay, we're about 17 miles out from Akure. We can see the town spreading out in front of us. There's the mountains that we talked about. We're at 4,300 feet. We're going to start descending down to pattern altitude, which is 2,100. And we are going to call Akure and tell them we're coming. And we are looking for the field, which should be right up in here. That's the town off to our left. And so we're looking for the airport. Pardon me. And again, our pattern altitude is going to be 2,100 feet. So we are coming down to that. And we've got the city of Akure passing off to our left here as we're making our way into the field. All right, coming on our left base here. Okay, gas to both, undercarriage, down, mixture full, prop to full. First notch flaps. Looks like we've got some trees in front of the field, so we're going to come in a little high, which is okay. Make our turn here on to final right about now. Let the airplane start to slow down. Three in the green. Working our trim wheel here, about 74 knots, about right. We'll keep that last notch of flaps until we think we need them. Okay, we can go full flaps. Got a high tree here, a really high tree. Get over that. There we go. And we can basically go dead stick right here if we wanted. Come in over the trees. Okay, we look like we are clear of our obstacle. A little bit of a wind there. There we go. There we go. I never hear the stall horn go off on this, even though I guess we were about 50. We weren't quite stalled.
Cessna 5 Juliet Golf, exit runway when able.
All right, so welcome to Akure. And not a lot of GA aircraft sitting on the ramp here. We do have a tower down here though, so we'll see if there's any place to park. If not, we'll just pull off the side of the freeway down by the tower, or pull off the runway down by the side of the tower. So that was for the several folks from Nigeria who have asked for an on-the-glide slope flight in their home country. Hope you liked it. I had fun doing it, as I always do. If you'd like to learn more about the basement simulator, you can do so.
Cessna 5 Juliet Golf, exit runway when able.
Yeah, I gotcha. You can learn more about it at www.ontheglideslope.net. Also, as I posted on the blog a couple days ago, I'm writing a guide on how to build one of these things. I've got enough questions. I put up some schematics, but I just decided maybe I'd write a guide. So I'm working on that now. I'm probably going to have it for sale because it's taken quite a bit of time to get all this together. But I think for a little bit of, it would be a little bit of help for people who wanted to create something like this in their own house or basement.
Cessna 5 Juliet Golf, contact ground on 118.2.
118.2 for 15 Juliet Golf. So look for that to go up in the next week or so, I hope, and it should have everything that you need from schematics to advice on making the panel and templates, so templates for the FIP devices, the SciTech panels, and the rest for you to cut them out. Basically, it's everything I wish I would have known when I started to build it. It'll be about construction. It won't be about the PC. It won't be simulator specific, so I'm not going to get into Prepar3D or FX or FSX or X-Plane. And Sim Samurai in particular produces a guide toward building your own flight simulator that gives you everything you could ever want to know about the technical side of stuff. And I would certainly not try to replicate that or compete with it because I think it's excellent. But in terms of how you get the lumber together and choices in terms of the paneling and the trim and everything else, you can look for that on the website soon. If you'd like to request a flight, you're welcome to do so. I've got a long list of ones I'm trying to do. It's best for me if they're less than an hour in length. And I'm happy to get to any ones I can and do so as fast as I can. And again, thanks for watching. It's a lot of fun to do this, and I'm glad people like it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next flight. Thanks again.